Will Bill Shorten help house prices? Rate cut, could it be coming? And the Crown Packer saga. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money. All right, Paul, I think it's actually quite significant, isn't it, that Bill Shorten's initials are BS. Has anyone picked up on that? And I
hadn't, Peter, but now you made a big point of that.
And a very nasty mate of mine calls him Bill Short Term. And this is why I want to concentrate on the short term, because we think these in 2020 could be bad for house prices. But in the interim period beforehand, if he gets elected as Prime Minister, could there be a house price surge and a stock market surge?
Well, I made that point last week, Peter, that there might be just a little bit of an upside in house prices in 2019 and then a cliff in 2020. And
so a help until January 1 and maybe a hindrance after that.
For a couple of reasons. A, because the negative gearing changed, so you want to get in any house you buy between, or unit you buy between now and the 31st of December, you can negative gear. But more importantly, it's the capital gains tax, the discount change, Peter. That has a huge impact on what you need to do in terms of profit sense and an asset.
Explain the discount to people.
So at the moment you get a discount of 50% if you hold an asset for more than 12 months. That's where personal investors get.
Yep.
That discount changes from 50% down to 25%. So effectively it means that for someone on the highest marginal tax rate of 47%, which will go up to 49%, I should say, the tax rate goes up from 23.5% effective tax rate to 35.25%. Now, it doesn't sound like a big increase. Yeah. And I'm throwing a bit of maths here, Peter. But what it actually means that on a pre-tax basis, the asset has to go up by more than 18% to get back in the same situation. So if you buy something on the 31st of December...
This is the better example. Everything else was
if
crap.
You buy something on the 31st of December 2019...
Just before January 1.
Right, you need 18% less gain in price than you do if you buy it on the 1st of January. So effectively, prices will need to be 18% lower on the 1st of January for you to be in the same position, right? So, look, it has a huge reason why investors are going to look at the market this year and not next year.
So an investor might buy a property before January 1 on the idea that if they sell it in 5 or 10 years' time, they'll still keep this capital gains discount of 50% rather than 25%. Yep. So there's a big incentive to buy before January 1 and a big incentive not to buy after January 1.
It's probably more going to bring all the people that might have bought in that first or second quarter next year and saying, I should do something this year. Interesting enough, and this tells you about rating agencies. Moody's came out with a report yesterday. They went the other way. They said it's going to go off the cliff in 2019 before recovering in 2020. You get economists, they don't look at things like tax changes. And that's what drives most of this activity, right? It is these sort of hard dates. BS putting a date of the 1st of January, and I reckon a lot of people, a lot of smart investors, are going to think it.
I hope Chris Bowen changes that idea that they need to wait till the market's strong before they introduce these changes. Let's go rate cut time and Guy Debelle.
Yeah, Guy Debelle hasn't got quite the profile of Dr. Phil yet, but he's
deputy governor.
He's deputy governor, so
deputy dog.
Yeah, deputy dog under the RBA. If you're the deputy, there's a good chance you become the next governor.
Yeah, he's smart. Smart guy.
He's speaking today. Now, a lot of economists are suggesting that the RBA is getting a little worried out there and are going to get a bit more. Start to signal a bit more aggressively that rate cuts are coming. So I see NAB is forecasting a first rate cut in July, and maybe we'll get a guy speaking, I think, at least one big speech today. It's suggestion that he may be a little more forthcoming and saying...
Hints will be thrown out, you reckon?
Hints will be thrown out. These are RBA speak hints, saying we're going to cut rates. So look, watch for that today. I don't think they need to, Peter, but look, I mean, I guess they're sort of looking in what else can they do?
Yeah, and around the world, when you were... And I was the same, on hold, eventually raising interest rates later this year or early 2020. We were thinking that the global economy was stronger and that the US was going to be raising interest rates. Well, that has changed. So maybe we can afford a rate cut on top of these tax cuts, which will actually help the economy.
Now, note also, CBA cut its fixed rates yesterday for home loans, so rates are coming down. We're going to see some out-of-cycle decreases in home loans.
Love those words.
One of the reasons why I'm not as bearish about the home market, I think people are they're too caught up in some of the changes from 2 years ago and not looking at what's actually happening out there at the moment. So if you're a seller I reckon you've got time on your side a little bit. There's a brave call, given
Yeah.
all the doom and gloom out there about house
Well,
prices.
by the way, on that Moody's story, they still don't see house prices in Sydney and Melbourne falling below 20%, even though they've actually increased their expectation that prices will fall.
Well, a bit like the IMF, who've downgraded their economic growth forecast.
They're always wrong.
Moody's and Standard & Poor's have been so wrong for so many years that really these sort of forecasts, you just got to throw them in the bin.
It actually gives a new meaning to the old term Moody Blues.
You're on fire today,
They've
Peter.
made a few blues in their lifetime. Okay, the Crown Hotel, Packer, there's a blue there somewhere.
Well, someone's been played, haven't they? Because Wynn Resorts have told us that the bid's off already.
How much were they willing to pay?
Well,
10 bill, was it?
Well, it was a price of $14.75 and 50-50 cash and shares. That's what the Crown came out and said yesterday, announced to the ASX. Somehow between that announcement in the ASX and around about midday yesterday and in the early hours of this morning, the deal's been called off. Now, who leaked who, why they've called it off. I mean, the shareholders of Wynn aren't very happy, right?
No.
Because that's what they were facing in the US. It was going to be a big dilution of their shares. It was basically a share script. Not necessarily a great deal, I think, from Wynn's perspective. But look, maybe that they got cold feet. Maybe they're just playing Packer. Because what we now know is that Packer's a seller.
Yeah, and look, I guess it can work to his favour as well, that now every potential buyer of a casino around the world knows that he's in the market to sell.
Maybe he leaked it.
Yeah, maybe he thought Wynn was keen enough that he could get a higher price somewhere else. These are, and over the years, Paul, could be a former stockbroker, Hall of Fame,
Something like that, Peter. You can keep going.
recruitee, whatever you are. You would have seen a lot of these ducks and drakes battles between buyers and sellers and takeover and merchants.
Look, there's nothing clean out there when it comes to takeovers. We've seen that with Wesfarmers and Linus and suggestions
what's
around
going
what
on there?
Wesfarmers is doing there. This is the same. I mean, what is clear now is that James Packer is a seller, and as you say, Peter, will drag out other people that might be interested. Where it all goes, time will tell. But this morning, Crown shares are going to go back down again. But at least we know he's prepared to sell, and look, maybe that will prompt another bid from somebody else in the coming days. So Crown is in play.
Yep.
The question is there a buyer and at what price? And look, I guess that's going to provide some sort of support to the share price. I don't think we're going to see a huge pushback, but we know where we stand, and that's one to watch in the coming weeks and months.
So in an uncertain world, I can give you one certainty, Paul. I won't be buying Crown. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.